guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to discuss The L Word, the OG, season 4, episode 11, and it's obviously part of my L Word Advent Calendar Christmas special. I'm trying to drop these episodes kind of throughout the Advent Calendar because my aim is to get to season 5, episode 4, my favorite episode, Let's Get This Party Started. I'm trying to get that to be the episode I review in the video that drops on Christmas Day, and then I wanted to do season 5, episode 6, which is Lights, Camera, Action, and trying to get that to drop on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, one of the two. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you enjoy the video at any point, give it a like, and any questions, comment down below. And if you subscribe, like, and comment, you will be entered into a draw to win an L Word gift bag, and that will be in the Christmas Day video as well. One tiny thing I did want to mention, and I've kind of gone back and forth all day about whether I was going to mention it, but someone I know through grapevines, lesbian grapevines, has a friend who is a behind the scenes crew person on the show, and they apparently have their contract of employment as being the next 8 months for Generation Q season 2, and that just strikes me as very odd because that's a really long time to film for, and that means we wouldn't get the show wouldn't even finish filming until July, and then they probably need like a month or maybe 2 to edit, and also there's no way Showtime would release this in July. That's at least going to be the very end of August, September. And maybe there's I can't believe it's a mistake, because the person obviously knows their contract of employment, like how long they're going to be working on the show. So is the show already renewed for season 3 and they're filming them back to back? I also find that really hard to believe. I don't have an answer as to what this is. I'm just kind of putting this information out into the universe to let you guys know, but I will keep digging, keep trying to find some sort of, information, but we would know if the show was renewed before even season 2 played, because way back when the original show was on, season 1, they renewed it for a second season after basically like the pilot aired, and then season 3 was renewed before season 2 even started, but they'd like filmed it and things already. So it was just something I heard today. Do with this information what you will. Also, I'm filming this on Tuesday because I filmed the day in advance, obviously. So you'll see this on Wednesday, when they are still saying, by the time I'm filming this, that they have a special guest that they've been saving on Pants. I really think it's Laurel Holloman. I can't see it being, I don't even have another guess for who it could be, because we've had pretty much, all of the main cast. So the only other person I could even imagine it being is Rachel Shelley, but she's the producer and she's on the show all the time, so I can't imagine they'd be making this big of a deal out of it. So I really think it's Laurel Holloman. If it is Laurel Holloman, and there's even like a smidgen of information talked about today, I will talk about it in my video tomorrow/Thursday, because I'll film it on Wednesday. This schedule everyday thing is kind of screwing with my brain a little bit. Anyway, after a really long time, let's finally review the episode that we came here to review. Season 4, episode 11, Literary License to Kill. Starting off with Jenny, she has very little storyline in this episode. She's basically in the group scene when they're seeing Goldfrapp at the end, and she has those like little things with Kate Arden, And Kate Arden is also, saying to Tina that Jenny is not a screenwriter and she wants Jenny fired. So there wasn't too much, there was a lot of talk about Jenny, talk about the book and everything, but nothing really too much going on with her character this week. Kit, also not insane amounts going on with her. She's just very going down a bad path at the moment. She's been drinking, and then we also do see her, with other substances towards the end of the episode, and she kind of breaks down to Angus and is saying, please take me to a meeting, will you drive me? So thankfully Kit is getting back on the right path at the end of this episode. Shane throws the super cute surprise party for Paige, and as someone who's had 2 women throw me surprise parties, like, it is such, I don't know, it's just such a nice feeling, and especially when you're super, actually surprised like Paige was, because the first time I ever had a surprise party was my 20th birthday, which is horrifying to think that was 14 years ago, pretty much next week. That's like scary. And it was so, I remember like we were going out to dinner and my friend pretended that she forgot something, and we were with like my girlfriend, my sister, my friend, and I in the car, and we stopped at my friend's house, who her parents had like a sick house, and we went in, and my girlfriend had organized like this massive surprise party with all my friends in Tampa, and it was so great. Like, I absolutely loved it. And then the second time was probably now, oh god, it must be about 5 years ago now, and it was on the island before I was in New York, and it was actually like a Thanksgiving early birthday, and we went to see, I think it was Catching Fire, it was definitely one of the Hunger Games, and when we came back, because at the time I was like, oh, I miss having Thanksgiving when I'm in the UK, and when we got back, all my friends were there, and we had like this really cute, like everyone had brought a dish Thanksgiving, and it's just super cute, super thoughtful, and I'm quite a perceptive person. Like, I normally am on it, and I'm told all the time like I should have been a detective, and I never figured either of them out. Like, I was completely surprised. So good job, my exes. But seeing the Paige thing and just having those memories come back, I super just keep thinking all the time, I want a girlfriend. So again, appeal out to anyone who knows anyone. Set me up with someone, please. Max in this episode actually has a storyline a bit again, which is great, and we finally see him stick it to his awful, terrible, transphobic bosses. Because I'm not trans, but I have been there with the sexism and light homophobia. I think it was more sexism with me. That the last place I worked, it was just the same thing. Like, there was no female leadership at all, and you basically were completely, talked down to, and it was just very similar lines of the way Max's company behaves, in that you can't like point to an actual, well, they did this. It's just like that atmosphere. And I had an incident once where we used to have these desks that when you were sitting down, especially someone really short like me, it was like a high, it wasn't like a cubicle, but it was like a wall, and there was like a bunch of guys sitting on one side, and they were talking about another company that I looked after, and it was a very small company, and it was all men, and they'd hired a female manager, and they didn't realize I was sitting on the other side, and they were basically like, oh, tell Ash, like, she'll, basically like finally shut up that they've hired a woman. And I just stood up and I was like, oh, I'm here, by the way. And yeah, these people that Max worked for are trash. There's trash people everywhere, and you just need to do your best, power on, and get away from them if you can, but if you have to deal with them, the best thing to do is exactly what Max did in kill them with kindness so they can't say anything to you. And when I've left any jobs like that in the past, and I am just professional to the nth degree, because then what are they going to say about you? You were so nice, you did your job effectively, you left the company in a better state. Like, Max did the right thing. And you know, I bet when he was going around, you could kind of see those people's faces, like, some of them probably felt super guilty. I hope that Megan girl did. And that's just my life advice anyway. Kill them with kindness. It's the best revenge. Helena, also not a lot going on this episode. She has the scene with Shane and Alice where they're picking out like the watches in the handbag, and they're all like, this ugly handbag, this ugly watch. Helena is still continuing the whole thing with Catherine. And you know, this episode was a lot like a very typical penultimate episode. It's just kind of moving all the pieces into where you need them to be for the final episode. So there was a lot of that this episode. Alice and Tasha, they start the episode out and everything seems to be going well. Alice wants to buy Tasha a watch. But throughout the episode, we see Tasha kind of having these flashbacks to when she was in Iraq. She doesn't tell Alice about it until, you know, the very end. And we see this character, Lisa, that like Tasha is consoling. And the one thing that I can't help think throughout this episode is when Alice shows up at the military base and she's just like there in this bright blue Mini Cooper. And I'm like, should you be here, Alice? Because I don't know if anyone else has been on a military base, but you don't just like wander on because you know someone. I've been on a good couple of times, and I mean, you have to be with someone who's either is in the military or has like a military ID, like their family or something. And Alice is just, you know, putting Tasha in a really bad situation with don't ask, don't tell being around. Obviously, this guy has it in for Tasha, and Alice just drawing more attention to the situation is not what Tasha needs at the moment. But then on Alice's side, it's like she doesn't want to be in the closet, but she's dating someone who, unfortunately, the career path they've chosen at that current time, that is the way you had to live if you wanted to be in the military. Right or wrong, that was the situation at the time. And at the very end of the episode, of course, we learn that Tasha is being called back to Iraq and Alice is just kind of there stunned. So that is kind of a good cliffhanger for a penultimate episode to see what is going to happen next time. I'm going to talk about Tina first and then Bette, and then I'll talk about the return of a Bette and Tina scene, like an actual Bette and Tina scene in this episode. So the one thing that I even remember like watching this for the first time, and it also kind of surprises me even when I see it now after watching the episode so many times, I'm like, oh yeah, Henry is still around. I thought he was like long gone, but he is there clipping his toenails in the living room, which, Tina, what are you doing? Luckily, she sees the error of her ways when he's clipping his toenails, and they kind of break up, fight in the moment when Henry's cooking an egg while Bette's going to bed. So I don't know what was going on with them making the egg, but Henry and Tina effectively break up in this episode. So long Henry, and Tina continues like her kind of flirtation with Kate Arden, and you know, she's kind of like, I don't know, because it's unprofessional, but it's clear that she likes her. But there is someone that she definitely likes way more than Kate Arden. One final thing about the Henry-Tina scene is that this was a thing with the L word a lot, where Henry says things like, once a lesbian, always a lesbian. And they go to this thing of constantly having to label people either straight or lesbian. And it's like, there are bisexual people in the world. and they are alive and well. So why can't someone just be bisexual? They don't need to be a lesbian or straight. There is another sexual orientation, and even shows today, like, they feel the need to put characters in a this or that box, and there's more than one box. Bette in this episode is pretty hilarious with the whole Les Girls book is out, and I found it a little bit strange that, especially like when that old man from this university comes at her door and is like, attendance is gonna skyrocket, way to go, Bev. And it's like, how do all these people know that this is Bette? Like, literally, if I go and talk, like, friends, family, anyone that I know, and I bring up the L Word, which is a show that was on for 6 years, was rebooted and has been on for another year, has some huge stars like Jennifer Beals, is viewed in, you know, tons of countries, has been watched millions of times over. Every lesbian I know talks about it, and even some people are like, the what? What is that? And yet they would all immediately know that this one niche book that came out that day is Bette Porter from California University. It seemed like a big leap. But I love the scene of Bette reading the book in bed. I do make a few little funny posts sometimes with it because it's just, it's so great. Jennifer Beals is always amazing. But this episode is so funny the way she does it too. Like, I absolutely love it. And onto the Bette and Tina scene, like, obviously Bette is really broken up about the fact that Jodi is leaving, and her and Tina kind of have this cute little conversation in the back garden by the pool. Bette's like crying and really upset, and she's asking Tina like, why was it so hard to date me? And I have had this exact basic conversation too many times. Again, appeals out, looking for someone to date. But it's a great scene, and it's the first, I mean, like, we've had over the last couple of episodes, since Tina's kind of come back into the fold, we've had the little, like, last week at the dinner party, we had the little, you know, like, glances between the two of them. But this is like the first real scene and beginning of them getting back together, because you have kind of Tina saying, you know, I'd take you back any day, and you can, and Bette's like crying about Jodi, but you can immediately see her be like, you would? And her little brain starts working away about, how can I get Tina back? And, you know, Tina, obviously, just the looks, everything about it, like, it's something Jennifer Beals like does different with. I mean, their whole acting is just, both of them are amazing and brilliant, but it's the way they are with each other too. Like, they're always good in whatever scenes they're in, but the way that they act against one another, I mean, yes, their chemistry is amazing, we all know that, but their facial expressions and the way they look at each other, it's like completely different to how they interact with any other characters. And I just really like this scene, and I remember when I watched it for the first time and being like, oh, are we gonna get Bette and Tina back together? Because yeah, hurry up, anytime soon would be great. And when I watch this, it just, I don't know, it just makes me really happy to watch it, and I really enjoyed it. So that is pretty much it for this episode, guys. Penultimate episode of season 4. Everything's kind of in place. Next episode, we do get Bette, Shane, and Alice stealing the sign. One of my favorite L Word moments, because it's just hilarious. And then we will start on the best season of the L Word. Absolutely, by far, the greatest season of lesbian television, season 5 of the L Word. So I cannot wait to start on season 5. I just want to get to episode 4 already. Season 5, all of it is great, but season 4 onward is just that is my absolute favourite. That's my happy place. So as I said at the beginning, guys, today I'm filming this on Tuesday. If Laurel is the guest tomorrow, which I am 99% sure she is, I will record my video tomorrow and talk about pants. So I will put it up, I'll try and get it up earlier on Thursday, and then obviously for the rest of the week I have lots of plans for the rest of the L Word Advent Calendar Christmas special. So expect a video every single day up until the 25th, as I've done since the 1st of December. And don't forget that on Fridays there won't be a video, but it'll be a live. So as usual on Fridays at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and 11 a.m. Pacific time, I will be going live on the channel. So I hope that if you're available, you can make it. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, comment any thoughts or questions down below, and don't forget to follow me on social media so that you can keep up with everything L Word related in between videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!